Just watching the AFCON Express segment of Game On. I still have Kazim Elegbede with me and also with Onyewichi Nwachukwu. But gentlemen, let's talk about something else that also came to light today. We heard that Nigeria Super Eagles have also received a significant financial incentive ahead of their quarterfinal clash against Algeria on Saturday. The National Sports Commission has announced the cash rewards for the remaining rounds. We heard that players will earn $15,000 each. If they beat Algeria on Saturday, they will also get $17,500 each if they reach the final, and they'll also get $20,000 each if they win the tournament. Now, this is apart from what the Nigerian Football Federation promised the team for their progress in the tournament, and that's a huge amount of money, basically. So there it is on your screen: $15,000 if they beat Algeria. That's per man. If they win in the semi-final, which might be either Morocco or Cameroon, depending on how that pans out, $17,500. And if they win the final, that's $20,000. That's a princely sum. Gentlemen, are we throwing money at this team? Is this a dangerous precedent that we're setting? Because the issues regarding Nigerian football are very fundamental and have never been addressed. But we're always seemingly throwing money at our national teams. We're telling our 17 team, go and win a title, we'll give you this. Telling our Nigerian national team, shouldn't these have been addressed before the tournament? And is money really a good incentive for professional players? Kazim?
Yes. I mean, why are they professionals? Is it not because of money? So, and then again, let us put this in context. Don't think about this as a Nigerian domicile in Nigeria. Remember, most of these players, they have far more than this at their various clubs, all right? The only thing that is wrong there is that this should have been agreed pre-tournament. And then the way we do things, I mean, somebody will just wake up, they also want to be part of the success story, they see that the team has prospect, they also have to do something to be part of it. That is what I disagree with. But giving them $20, $17, $15 for crying out loud is not even up to 1/4 of what some of them earn at their various clubs. So don't say, why are they giving them this kind of money? They are abroad. They are going to spend this money, some of it in abroad. So it's not a big deal. It's not that we're throwing money at them. It's the mode that I disagree with. So they are professionals, and money is a big motivation for any athlete, any professional athlete. Trust me.
We have $52,500 per man to win the Africa Cup of Nations. Same question to you. Are we throwing money at these players? Are we giving them a financial incentive rather than a patriotic one? Because their names could go down in history as the team that won a 4th title for Nigeria. Is that a greater incentive rather than money?
Yeah, I think the gesture is like an afterthought. All this money is being thrown around should have been channeled to the Nigerian Football Federation because they are in charge of the Super Eagles.
Oh, so you're saying that the Nigerian National Sports Commission should have given that money to the Nigerian Football Federation instead of coming and say, okay, we're
so
big daddy.
We know what they are doing. Today we know what they are doing, playing to the gallery. You know how these things are done in Nigeria. You want to be part of it so that by the time they win the tournament, you have bragging rights. You go to the presidency, go to Aso Rock, and claim that you have done
glory.
Claim the glory. But you see, at the end of the day, if we are not careful, it becomes a recipe for disaster. Remember, I keep on talking about the World Cup playoff. Tunde, before we came over here, and I told you what a top official of the National Sports Commission did, without the knowledge of the Nigerian Football Federation, promising this, called the captain to Sekong, and promised him some, humongous amount of money
for the team.
And at the end of the day, that thing became an issue. It later emerged that a top official, from the Nigerian Sports Commission, promised these players. So if it's not well managed, it could become a recipe for disaster. So I think everybody, should queue behind the federation. They are in charge. After all, if they don't win, it is the federation that all of us will criticize.
Exactly.
Apart from the coach, who call for the resignation of the federation. Nobody is calling for the National Sports Commission. So every money should be channeled through the federation. So let us be organized.
So what do you do if the presidency is jumping into the fray? Because in Cameroon, President Paul Biya has approved 30,000 euros bonus for each member of the Indomitable Lions for their qualification for the quarterfinals. Now, that anyway, some people have said that as it is in Nigeria, it is in
No,
Cameroon.
it's the same thing.
We are pretty much.
But there's nothing you can do if the president decides to give them money. That one is a different thing. After all, the money is coming from the federal government. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think they are learning the bad lesson from Nigeria.
I get that.
They are learning the bad lesson from Nigeria.
Let's actually talk about the fact that we now have the quarterfinal lineup for the Africa Cup of Nations right now. Let's show you how it will be looking this weekend. Starts on Friday. First two games: Mali versus Senegal, Cameroon versus Morocco. Now that is a hell of a game. And Algeria versus Nigeria. That's on Saturday. Then Egypt versus Ivory Coast. Look at now. When I look at this, I see 4 West African teams, which breaks my heart because I've always felt that West Africa is really much the bastion of African football. Why WAFU has not been able to get its acts right is a big surprise to me and is a source of pain. Some will even say maybe it's 5 West African teams because we just mentioned Cameroon being much like Nigeria's brothers. Yeah. And unsurprisingly, there are 3 North Africans there, Morocco, Algeria, and Egypt. So basically, we'll say that the status quo of African football has been maintained. 7 former champions in the mix.
Very true, very true. Only Mali have not won the African Cup of Nations. And, you see, sometimes, once in a while, you see the so-called lesser teams, like when Zambia won the Nations Cup. It has always been the big teams. And, because they have the star players, they have pedigree, and, the players want to win AFCON. Now, it's even more competitive. The bars have been raised. Players are now talking that even the AFCON is as big, if not bigger, than the European Cup. So this is a balanced fixture. And apart from Mali, all other teams have pedigree. Mali, they are also, perennial.
Good team.
Good team. They're very decent. They go far. So maybe this could be their turning point for the AFCON. But these fixtures are tough. Very, very tough.
Kazim, no surprises for you looking at the teams that made it to the quarterfinals? No surprises for you?
No. I mean, this is very clear. The men have been separated from the boys. I mean, for this, CAF should be very, very proud of themselves. Yeah. Because despite the fact that we had a lot of teams and all that, at the end of the day, you will say 8 of the best 8 teams are in the quarterfinals. These are cracking matches. There is no match here I don't want to watch. And that tells you, how competitive and the way they did the draws and all that. Coming up with this, it can't be better than it. Trust me.
So the question really is this for me, gentlemen. You look at this, how exciting it is, how brilliant it is, how you're looking forward to it, I'm looking forward to it, Onye is looking forward to it. And CAF are telling us that they want to be doing this every 4 years rather than every 2 years. African football is unique, it is distinct. We want to see this quite as regularly as possible. So it continues to beggar belief why CAF, or by extension FIFA, are trying to shoehorn African football into the same WhatsApp group as European football. And we've said it many times, the Europeans have the UEFA Champions League, which is played every year. It is exciting, it makes money, so they can afford to have a Euros every 4 years. Can Africa afford that?
Yeah, so you see today again, they say when the head is sick, nobody is sick. I'm talking about Mosepe. I am not a fan of the man. I don't know his background in football. For him to even rise, and it's part of the anomaly in Africa why such a man will rise to the top or pinnacle of African football. But it is what it is. Let us see how the experiment will go. But I know over time somebody else will come and revert back to the normal. Because this is it for us. 2 years is it. When you say 4 years, he loses his taste. This is not World Cup. It is not European Nations Cup. Okay? This is African Cup. 2 years is it. Anything you say 4 years, I cannot wait for another 4 years. Before you know it, we'll lose interest. And that will be very, very unfortunate.
I totally agree. But we'll be keeping our eyes on that particular story. Hopefully that CAF will come to its senses. But it doesn't look particularly promising. Anyway, Burkina Faso defender Dayo Issoufou Dayo has announced his retirement from international football following the Stallions' exit from the Ivory Coast. The decision brings an end to a distinguished career that spanned more than a decade in the heart of the Burkina Faso defense. Dayo was widely regarded as the nation's most consistent centre-back and was a key figure across multiple Africa Cup of Nations tournaments, combining solidity, defensive solidity with crucial goals and leadership. Elsewhere, we heard that the Angola Football Federation has also announced a major policy shift following the country's disappointing performance at the Africa Cup of Nations.